What is up, beautiful Ginger Nation? If you guys don't know, today we dropped the new prizes for World Championship, what we're playing for, what we get for attending, and all that stuff. So let's get into it. You're going to see some major effects of low-hanging fruit, and these are the type of stuff that is best for the game and collecting. Because right here, we're going to start off with the main thing. Everyone who attends the battle hour, which is what all three worlds are called, both the fighter game, the app, and of course the card game, they're going to get a card just for attending. So you don't have to do anything. You just walk in the door. You're going to get a set of 3 cards. Now, the coolest part about these 3 cards is they are a set. Sets always do well. People like to collect them because it shows an iconic part in time. So in this case, this is the first ever battle hour in person. So this will be in many ways more important than last year, because last year we didn't know what the world stuff was going to be. So, Worlds was just online. It wasn't with a bunch of other stuff. This is all one location. So this is kind of a bigger deal. You can see the effect. It's just kind of fun. You and your opponent complement each other. Clearly meant to be kind of like a joke card, fake card, no big deal. But it's also kind of awesome, and I like it. So the best part about this one is it's meant to be the card game. Okay, so this is the card game 1. You can see it, looks cool, and it's just the image they use for Battle Hour in general. So nothing special about it, but iconic. Goku, Vegeta clashing, always going to be somebody who wants this card. Even if these are only $10 on release, when you grade these are likely to be $100 just keeps for a long time. Like, people are going to want to have a copy, and it won't get crazy for several years. But this could be something that's really good later on in life that could, appreciate over value. The first ever in-person battle hour. Then you see the other version is the first ever Shallot card. He is the Legends character that they invented. First time you get a storyline, you see Dragon Ball Legends at the top. It looks pretty phenomenal, and to be honest, it looks better. You can see here the quality of the card looks like basically it's in movement. Now, there's some ramifications here you're maybe not even thinking about is, if this card looks this good for graded cards and content, it means that there's another layer of texturing that Bandai's figured out. So this changes the game. You can see how well this is lit and how great it looks already as a picture. If in person it looks this great, where Kamehameha Wave actually looks like we're being cast, this is awesome, just to say the least. And look at this texture here for the powering up. The blur, it looks good. So we'll see how good it looks on the actual card. And last but not least, am I one out of order? I apologize. Looks like I might be one out of order. No? That's weird. Okay. We're going to go back and see. Did I skip it? 1 second. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, sorry. And then we also have Dragon Ball Z Fighter, the online, what do you call it, where you're battling PlayStation game. I'm a fan of it. It's really cool. And what's nice about this is we already have the Kakarot card we've seen a lot of collectors like. Now, this has tons of texturing. You can see it here. It's almost too much and yet perfect. They did a great job. This reminds me of a Shikishi. So this is just great job. You got to figure these are just participation. So clearly, if these are just participation and I'm already excited about it, as someone's going to be there to buy these up, I'm going to be a lot more excited in a second. So then we advance. This is the mat I get for attending, so this is kind of cool. I'm not sure if this is for LCQ as well, or if I get it for just being in top 8. But either way, I'm all for it. I like inclusive pricing, so it'll just be cool. Then, you see here, this is for everybody who's playing in the LCQ, it looks like. You get one of these World Championship leaders. So these are not going to be only for top 8 this time, and this is better. So in a lot of ways, this is, of course, bad news because it means pre-releases are not going to do as well for this set because there's going to be a cooler stamp out there, going to be the world stamp, right? So, that's important to note, is that this is probably not the set to go really big on pre-release stamps because we're going to have these. I don't expect these to be expensive. This now lets World Championship cards to be accessible to everybody because they want them. This makes them a lot cooler. And it lets more collectors get involved with lower hanging fruit, which is, like I said, this is always the foundation of collecting. You need lower hanging fruit to go with the higher fruit, for lack of a better term or analogy. And so now we have that. This is probably still going to be $10, $15 on release, if not more, because there's only going to be a few hundred of them, but a few hundred is a lot. And you get 9 of them, so it'll depend. I would assume like $100 for a stack of liters, maybe 200 if it's expensive in Vegas, and then it will go up over time because they look great. Like if they're textured this much, people will like them. Then there's going to be a new thing that they didn't do last year, and this is a cool new prize that they have. This is going to be, for those of us in top 8, we get what I'm going to call them like just fun cards. I don't know what else to call them, but they're just stamp cards that are only for us, that are not leaders, that are just meant to be for collecting or use. So you see here, we have the iconic Dragon Ball. This is pretty awesome because that means if there's only 8 of these, that means only one person in the world could have a set of the Dragon Balls and then have one extra. So that's kind of fun. I like it. Good job on it. It's just the simple card, and we throw on the World Championship. Then this is the money. This right here, I've already been told, is about a $15,000 card. And the reasoning is it's what everyone wanted. This is what we were hoping was going to be the gold card this year. And so we'll take it as a stamp. The gold card, it would have been worth probably more than Awakened Power because of how iconic it is for the new era. Because Awakened Power was kind of that old era, like Tournament of Power. And then Son Gohan is clearly going to be, for lack of a better term, probably what they do some content for in the new stuff, right? They always like to lean into Gohan, and now that he has a new form that's very unique to the UI and alter ego, I'm hoping you get to see this form beat Black Frieza in the story arc, and that's how they like justify power levels. But we'll see. But anyway, this is beautiful. The stamp could have been put elsewhere to be a little bit better. If you put the stamp kind of like right here, it's probably better. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. Maybe it could have been better, but it's still fantastic. And the card already has so much texturing. You don't need to do much to it. You just need to make it exclusive, and people are going to want it. Black labels already go for a fair amount in this card. I know I just sent one away hoping it is Black Label to keep. And I don't keep a lot of cards. As a collector, I keep the stuff that I think is very iconic and matters to me. And when I watched this movie, this brought about the same vibes that I got the first time I saw Super Saiyan as a kid. So that's what I want. Like, I want big vibes. So this is great. This is an A+. We're going to talk about the other prizes that now is more intense. So I get this for showing up. Top 8, congrats. Boom, you get an SCR. And I am excited about that. This is where it gets more intense because it is single elimination, which is scary because you are playing for this. If you get top 2, this is the second place card. It is a silver normal version of the SCR Bardock Origin of the Legend. I like that they went with this for the theme. I think it's a good choice. Not because of how cool it is, but just because it's an iconic moment. You get to have Frieza in it. You get to have it. And they've been really utilizing Bardock in the manga. So I'm hoping that this is a sign that, there's going to be more Bardock in the future. I really expect there to be something to do with a Dragon Ball being summoned, and we get Bardock in the future. I would bet probably $1,000 in the next 5 years, Bardock becomes in the current timeline. It's a popular concept in other animes, and if you guys are a fan of Driz Do'Urden, they just did it really well for R.A. Salvatore, where he did the same thing and brought back his father. Spoiler. It's a good storyline to do that, where people who are killed can be displaced in time. And it's fun, right? Because now you get like a Saiyan who's in the wrong era and wrong mindset, and he's going to have to work with Frieza. But then also he's the beginning of the power. So if he's the origin of the legend, what transformations did he have as a pure Saiyan back then? What was he capable of had he not been destroyed? And then when he becomes interacting with the other Saiyans, like, what does it do for him? Will they just make him weak, or will he have some kind of like inert ability, almost like Brawly? I'm excited for it. It's what I want. If I'm wrong, so be it. But what's so cool about this is the very first ever third place bronze trophy. It looks amazing on the preview. This is the reason why I actually chose to just make this white for this recording and not have a background. This is fantastic. We have Hi to Jenny in the background. This just looks cool, and this probably means, if they're smart, Now we're going to have tiered pricing for nationals. You're going to have a gold card, a silver card, and a bronze card. So it's not going to be dealer's choice anymore. It's going to be, hey, I got first place, I get this one, it's the gold card. Second place gets so on, and third place, because in the past, well, this year especially, I could have chose any leader I wanted. I chose SS4 Vegeta for obvious reasons and Goku because I liked the deck and it was awesome looking. But now you'll choose the gold card. And that's what we're going to show next. And I'm super happy about it because it's this baby. This Kaioken is the amazing rare of the game. Unlike the God rare, which is its own unique thing, they basically just copied what Dragon Ball does in Pokemon. So Pokemon, they copied Pokemon for Dragon Ball. That's the way to phrase it. So this is pretty awesome because this card is beautiful, and without the colors, you still see how beautiful it is. Like when I was showing my wife it, she was having like she's kind of like our non-Dragon Ball fan who tells me, hey, is this as pretty as I think it is, or am I like Goku blinded? In this case, I saw it and I was like, oh, I want this. This is amazing. He's going Kaioken with Divinity. Like, this is, of course, iconic. But I got to ask her because she doesn't have a clue about Tournament of Power. She barely watched it with me. And she was like, oh, that's pretty. Immediately. I didn't even ask her like what to say. You know, like, how do you feel about it? I just said, hey, look at this. And boom. Wow, that's pretty. So this is going to potentially eclipse Awakened Power. The reason why is Awakened Power wasn't quite as well done if this quality is better. And what I mean about that is Awakened Power was the first iconic card, and it needed to be textured very well because the old cards weren't textured that well. So they kind of had to reinvent it, and they tried to just use the old TOP symbol and just keep it the same. In this case, this works better as a metal card, and as you saw, the Awakened Power didn't grade very well, and so that hurts its value a little bit. Not a lot. It's still a 100k card, 150k card, maybe 200k. So then when you have a card like this that's one of one, it becomes weird because people are like, well, it can't be worth as much as Awakened Power. That was the first. And they're right. It's probably not equal to Awakened Power, but what this is the first in-person event. So this changes the dynamic. It looks, in my opinion, better, but I'm biased. I am biased because I have a chance to win it. It's not a big chance. You have to play against the best players in the world, but it's a chance. And then some other the cool stuff here. I think I showed it already. I get the little mat is the other thing. We don't know how it works, but just take a second on it. This is just a cool looking mat. It's almost boring for how simple it is. You just have, Cell Saga Gohan, Goku and Vegeta that are looking. I'm guessing these are meant to be the start of the Brawly scene before they like go higher. And then we just have some version of Future Trunks, which is not clear where he's from. But it looks cool. Like you got the yellow green. It's just fun. And that's all I want. Worlds should be fun. It's exhibition. It's not a real tournament in some ways because you're just playing 8 players. And then that's the only thing I'm going to talk about now. If you're here for the content about the prizes, we're done with it. I am going to switch over. Some people have been asking me, what do they think was going to happen for Worlds? And I think this is the cool part. And I wanted to kind of like keep this secret at the end, because this is only for the collectors. This is my expectation of Worlds. You've got best decks, right? Some decks right now can be aggressive. Some decks can be control. It is a very rock, paper, scissors meta. For example, Android 16, phenomenal deck if you're going to go ahead and play against Crimson. It's very hard to beat, and if you go first, it can staggeringly just do enough stuff because on its turn 2, it can awaken. It can then set up a large amount of Zenkai energy. It can play Majin Buu on 4 and then set up some arrivals for 4. And then on turn 5, just get a lot of value. And then the Buu Unison is pretty hard to kill because you have blockers. And it beats Crimson. That's the important part. One of the things that sucks about the deck, though, is versus Green, almost an auto loss. We were doing some testing with it yesterday to see how it feels. And Green beats the crud out of Android 16. So let's say you're going to this event, you're one of the 8 players, and you say, hey, Rob just played Crimson again. Must mean he's on Crimson. It's not a bad theory. You might be right. We're keeping it a little bit tight to the chest what we are playing until the event. But let's say I am playing Crimson, and I've got a cool list for you. So you say, hey, I'm going to play Android 16. Well, someone else is like, hey, I'm just going to play Green. because I know someone's going to go there trying to beat Robert. Well, now it's up to a dice roll. Who do you play round one? If I play the green player, I'm fine against green. I have built-in cards against green in my Zenkai list that you guys saw on how I won. I played against a green deck, in fact, and I played against a discard deck. Well, I had Apes main, wasn't a problem for me. I beat him, I won the whole thing. But now, let's imagine I play against that deck that's really trying to focus on me. They get the win, I'm out of Worlds. So, but now it becomes a, what did you choose and what did you go against a matchup? Some decks, though, are not better or worse in the matchups. What they are is just better across the board. So like a safer pick would be Gamma. I know one of the players for Worlds, I believe it's from Italy. I could be wrong. There's a lot of you guys. He got invited from playing Gamma. Gamma is across the board, solid against everything. It can play against Shenron, still do well, but it can play against Crimson and do well. Dice roll becomes a little bit more important in some matchups, but it can still do a good job. Well, if you play that deck, you might have a better chance against certain stuff, but somebody could just bring Sin. Sin Shenron is still a very strong deck. So if you bring something like Beerus to play against my Crimson list, if I'm playing that, you could be in some big trouble because Beerus will get destroyed by Sin Shenron. And then Sin Shenron could win the entire event because you could see a room where 5 people bring a anti-blue deck. And then one guy's like, I'm just going to bring Sin Shenron. It's what I like. And that's what's fun about an 8-person event is I got no clue what's going to happen. My opponents and me, we're not collaborating. We're not talking until after Worlds. Like, I like Andrew Duvall as a person, and we will talk for Battle Spirits and do some stuff. But when it comes to our Worlds deck, it'll be 100% on us. We'll test some ideas and we'll come up with it. And then whenever we play, it'll be like, ooh, you are playing this or that. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for it. That's the important part. Worlds is meant to be fun, and we are going to have fun. So, yeah. And last thing, if you guys haven't done it, make sure to use our new eBay link. We're working with them now. So if you just shop on eBay after clicking on my link, I get credit, and I get less fees, which means I, in turn, can offer lower prices. So if you guys keep doing that, I will have the lowest prices on eBay for everyone to enjoy Dragon Ball. So that's the goal.